meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I'd just like to say a few words about Chris Fate. We will miss her, and she was a dedicated employee of the district and gave a lot to all of us as well as our kids, and our thoughts are with her family. Did you want to say something, Nicole?
Yeah, I just echo that, and she was an amazing one. I don't think she met a stranger or a challenge she couldn't face, or there was not a child she wouldn't help. She is going to be dearly missed, but I know that we will keep her memory alive and kicking. She's a very strong woman, and she'll be missed for sure, and our hearts go out to her family.
And I think everybody on the board feels that way. All right, on to business. Do I have someone, a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Great. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Katie, do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment.
No public comment. On to president's comments. The employees of the month for January. With the certified staff, it's Elisa Gardner. She's a special education teacher and district Special Olympics coach at the middle school. Her nominating colleagues shared that she's dedicated and committed to providing a supportive and nurturing learning environment for students with special needs is truly exceptional. She goes above and beyond to ensure that each student receives the individualized attention and assistance they need to succeed academically and emotionally. Her passion for helping students reach their full potential is evident in everything she does, and her positive impact on both students and their family is immeasurable. So that's Elisa Gardner. We thank you for your service. The next employee of the month is support staff Anna Willer, who is a nurse at McMillan Early Learning Center. Her nominating colleague shared, this is her first year with our district and she is rocking it. She always goes above and beyond for all of our littles. She makes sure they're all taken care of, even if it's magic crackers. We are so appreciative of Nurse Anna and thankful she is a part of our team at McMillan. So we thank Anna for her service as well. Educator of the Year, we congratulate Stephanie Robinette, who was selected as the Educator of the Year by the Mexico Area Chamber of Commerce. She teaches 8th grade math at the middle school. So we congratulate her as well. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, or do we have any questions before? No questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. All right, approval of bills. Do I have a motion for the payment for the first check extensions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ACH 011939 to Moments Heating and Cooling for $470.46. And approve ACH 012040 Moments Heating and Cooling for $100. ACH 012055 to KXEO KWWR for $120.
Is there a second?
Second.
How do you abstain?
All right, and Matt has to abstain. All in favor, please raise your hand. 5 and 2 abstentions. Do I have a motion to approve motion 2 of the check abstentions?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve check number 141836 to the City of Mexico for $4,587.41. ACH 011963 to Central Bank for $38,985.89. Check number 141783 to Central Bank of Audrain County for $125, and ACH 011989 to Central Bank for $39,961.27.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. We've got 2 abstentions. Motion carries 5-0-2. Reports and presentations, superintendent's report.
For community engagement, it was an honor to be at the Martin Luther King Jr. observance yesterday and to participate in that on behalf of the district. Also, Ms. Lauer was the featured speaker for Kiwanis in January, and that was a treat for everybody there. And facilities, FSG's in the design development phase of the middle school expansion and kitchen renovation. They had the soccer field / tennis court concession stand design work done, so we'll have restrooms and concession stand and more much needed storage there. And then the current timeline would be to post bids for the concession stand in February, try to get bids to consider in March for the middle school project. So that'll probably be one of the biggest ticket items of all the bond work. For weather, this would need to be updated as of today. We've missed 5 days so far. I'm just trying to put a table out so people could see, where we are and above the required hours from DESI. So at this time, we're not in a position where we'd have to make up hours to meet the DESI minimum. Our calendar has more contact days than I would say most of our neighbors, particularly those that are on 4-day school weeks. So right now, we'd be more like 48 hours over what's required. I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Try not to really let that influence my decision making. I just mostly want student and staff safety to be the primary thing when I'm trying to decide. And then keeping a close eye on the temperatures. My hope is to be in session for tomorrow, but all of our buses have fuel in them right now that have had additive in it. Our buses are out there running, but just an indication of how cold it can be and how bad it can get. Right now, the diesel fuel in our fuel tank is gelled up. You couldn't pump diesel fuel out of our fuel tank into a bus right now if you wanted to. So MFA's scheduled to be here tomorrow to put more treatment in it and to put an agitator in it and replace the fuel filter. So, we were told that it was supposed to be up to, I think, like 18 degrees by this time right now, and we haven't made it yet. So we are supposed to warm up overnight. It's not a good situation to have a bus gel up on the road with kids. So, finance budget development through December, received about 37% of budgeted revenues, spent about 45% of the budgeted costs. We'll be getting our big deposit from the county before the end of the month, so that'll be much different next month. At the beginning of the year, I was really optimistic that as the state increased the state adequacy target and decreased the free and reduced lunch threshold, that we would see a kind of significant increase in state revenues. So far, that hasn't materialized. I think the Department of Education, or the State Board of Education, has asked for an increase in the appropriation. Part of it is just the rate that revenues are coming in. Another factor is we don't get paid off of our students who enroll in MOCAP. We don't get paid off of their attendance unless they pass their classes. So, it's a little bit of a guessing game to see, what that pass rate would be. But state revenues are a little flatter than what I'd hoped. What I'm currently projecting, and this probably change, each month as we go through, but I think that we probably end this year with about $12 million in reserves, which is around a 40% fund balance. The district, the kind of the narrow tightrope that we're on is we would like to see our fund balances go down, but we also like to be able to land that airplane, in 2 or 3 fiscal years. So as we end at 40% this year, we need to be mindful of how we would level that out. Because our policy is that we'd like to be between 20 and 30%. So I'm looking at the fiscal year 26 budget with that in mind. Some of the things that I'm considering, we won't have any ESSER III money next year, so our federal funds, our federal revenues next year will be the lowest that the district has had in probably 4 or 5 years. That slow growth in state revenue and the impact of Senate Bill 756, which is the tax credits for people over 65 for their local property taxes. You know, I do expect that our local revenues will grow. I just don't think they'll grow as fast as they would without Senate Bill 756, although I wouldn't blame any of our seniors for applying for that tax credit for the personal property taxes. On expenses, you know, we're working on making sure that we keep up with minimum wage for all of our hourly employees. We want to be competitive with neighboring districts for our salaries, and I'm sure we'll see an increase in our insurance premiums. Get those back. The district has maintained the commitment for quite a while to pay for like the second cheapest, so to speak, HSA, make that fully funded, and I think we'd like to try to keep that. We just don't know at this time what that'll be, the premium will be. So with that in mind, right now, the number I'm working with for our salary increase to the base would be $700, and that increase, depending on where you are on the salary schedule, it changes. If you're been in the district for a long time, it'd be, you know, about a 2.5% increase. If you've not been in the district very long, it's going to be higher than that. And if you add education and move over on the column, you know, you could be looking at, you know, about a 5.6% increase. So, you know, the salary schedule works a little bit different for everybody, but our salary schedule is, I think we're behind Kirksville in our conference, but we're ahead of everybody else. And we would like to be competitive with all of our conference schools. With that in mind, I think we'd probably end up another year deficit spending. We'd probably be somewhere between 30 and 35% reserves. So, you know, you couldn't continue at that pace. There'd have to be a plan to eventually have a more balanced budget. So I think that's, you know, likely to be the assignment for me for my time in Mexico, is to try to get us within. We don't want to be a bank. We don't want to have 50% reserves, but also we don't want to end up in a spot where we're panicked because we have 15% reserves. Again, you know, when we present the salary schedule for next year, that really is the biggest rock for the budget. Everything else kind of falls in around that certificated staff salary schedule. So, probably next month, I'll probably give an update on, up until this point, every update I've given has been just on our operating salaries and supplies. Haven't really talked about our debt service budget or our capital budget. I'll probably give an update on where I see that looking for next year, next month. So, very much want it to be a collaborative process. So any questions or priorities or concerns you have, really like to hear them either now or reach out. And hand it over to Ms. Lauer.
Sure. So I wanted to talk a little bit about professional development highlights. We had a professional development day on Friday, January 3rd, before the snowpocalypse hit. And so our teachers were engaged in some learning sessions around the district. Dr. Lentz and I were able to go and visit several of the buildings. We saw great activities at the high school. They had rotating sessions, and their focus was helping teachers plan lessons that got students up and moving, or talking to each other, or talking with the teacher, and really engaged in that kind of learning. At the middle school, we got to see a gallery walk where the teachers were presenting effective strategies from their own classroom. So they were building their collective efficacy there. And at Eugene Field, we were able to see behavior de-escalation techniques being taught to the teachers, and some meaningful conversations that they were having there. We look forward to seeing more professional development next year on those days. I think it's important for Dr. Lentz and I to get out and see what our principals and teachers are working on those days. Our office has been really busy with federal programs over the past month and a half. I got a few different topics under federal programs. We're in our third round of revisions for our ESEA consolidated budget application. And DESE did make an error. They had a glitch in their system. They over-reported the carryover amount by about $226,000. So we had to go through this third round and cut that much of our plan. So that was interesting. And we are reallocating our Title IV monies into Title V. Title IV has significant restrictions on how you can spend your money that's allocated. And the simple fix is to transfer it into Title V, which is a little bit more free for spending on what we need to spend it on. So we're working on that. Been working with our Title I team of teachers, and I have to say, although I'm new in this position, I've been in the district a long time, and you hear things, and you work with people who work with people, and I just have to say our Title I team of teachers is just amazing this year. We've got 5 Title I teachers at all of the elementaries, and they are just an amazing team. We have planned a special, our first ever literacy and basketball night, where we're inviting all of the elementary families to attend a Mexico High School basketball game on February 10th. And we'll have reading game stations and free book giveaways in the lobby. And a special copy of Where the Wild Things Are will go to every family that attends. They'll get in free for the night, and we'll encourage them to go watch the varsity games after we have our fun out in the lobby. Reading success plans, I'm sure you've heard the term RSPs. It's a mandate coming down from DESE over the last few years. It's one of the new laws that they've passed. And we're required to assess our students 3 times a year and track students who have any kind of reading deficiency in any of the areas. If they do have a deficiency, we're required to devise a plan for that student, say what their area of focus is and what type of support they'll be receiving, what the specific intervention strategy will be. So we've had a state plan, and it's a comprehensive guide. It's like 28 pages long. Our teachers don't realistically have time to read through that. The reading coaches and instructional coach and I have been working on and have completed a district-specific plan of responsibilities, who does what and when. So we are pushing that out through the administrative team this coming week, and then we will get that out to teachers and train them after that. Panorama update. So we brought that to the board a couple of months ago. It has taken quite a while for the integration period to happen. So our iReady scores, all of our MAP scores, everything's uploaded and integrated, and then the hang up is Infinite Campus. It's being a little bit challenging, so they have some reps that are working on it. Our core data manager, Nikki, has been super helpful in that process, so we're very thankful for the work she's been doing with Panorama. They assure me it will be done soon, and as soon as that's finished, we'll train our admin on the program, and then they will train the teachers. And again, that's just for everyone to be able to see the dashboard of student data. The building improvement plan mid-year reviews is something new that we haven't had in the district over the past several years since I've been an administrator. And Dr. Lentz and I thought it was important to sit down with our admin teams by building and just talk about how things are going. Every building has a BIP, building improvement plan. They have set goals. They have strategies on how to achieve those goals. And so we thought it was important just to sit down with them and see how things are going. What are their goals? Where are they at with the data according to their mid-year data? Most of them are based on reading growth or math growth, attendance growth, and behavior intervention. So we had great conversations. We have had to reschedule, I think, the high school and Hawthorne a few times due to the school cancellations, but we will touch base with them soon. Math curriculum review team has been hard at work. We went and saw 2 elementary schools in Moberly the week before we got out for Christmas break, and we had some mixed reviews on Eureka Math Squared. We are going to schedule another visit to Jefferson City Public Schools because they've been implementing it for quite a while longer. Moberly was just in their 2nd year of implementation, so we had some mixed reviews. We are going to go to Fulton on Thursday this week and observe iReady Classroom Math, which is a branch of what we already use for iReady Diagnostics for reading and math. And we'll see how that goes. They are only in their 1st year of implementation though, So we'll see what we see, and then we'll make a decision if we need to go to another school. The iReady guys did encourage us to go to Sturgeon. They've been in implementation of that for about 5 years. When we get back in the afternoon, Thursday, we are going to do a crosswalk with the MLS standards and all three of the programs that we're looking at, make sure everything's covered and what are the holes, what's missing. And that'll help us make a better decision which program to go with. And then we will start piloting soon. Winter assessments are mostly complete. We have a few stragglers due to the school cancellations. But we did change things up in the elementary level. At the middle school, we have been testing iReady before Christmas for the last few years, and we thought it made a positive difference in our data. And at the elementary schools, we changed it this year to test before Christmas, which threw our teachers a little bit. It was hard to get that accomplished with the holiday festivities, but they worked really hard and they were very diligent. They did get it done. Mostly we had a few kids that needed makeups when we came back in January. We're excited to see, and we haven't looked at the data yet, it's not 100% complete. We're excited to see if it helped what we would term as learning loss over Christmas break, if we could avoid that and check and see what our true growth is for our kids from the fall to the winter diagnostics. We'll compare it to last year's at this time and see if we've made a positive impact. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions on the building reports? I just want to thank the administrators for putting those together each month and giving us highlights of what's going on in your buildings. It's nice for us to see that insight. Communication report. Marcy, do you want to say anything about that? Anybody have questions?
Unless anybody has questions.
Anybody have questions about communications? No? The board candidate filing update, it ended on December 31st. The following candidates have been placed on the April 8th ballot. We've got Joshua Price, Eric Richardson, John Calhoun, Scott Nichols, and Julia Lindsay. The election will determine the outcome of the two seats of two current board members, Mr. Scott Nichols and Ms. Nicole John, whose terms expire. New business. All right, does anybody have any questions about the audit? Do you want to say anything about the audit?
Yeah, I think, next year we'll for sure have this to you before January, when you try to submit all the required documentation to the auditors, and you've got 3 new people in your business office. It's a little bit like walking into somebody else's kitchen and trying to find the strainer or whatever. And but they were able to push through, and on the first page, or page 3 in the document, the line that you really want to see is, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective modified cash basis financial position of the government activities in each major fund of the district as of June 30th, 2024. So what's presented here is what the district's finances were at the end of that fiscal year. So, and the district did in the year in good financial shape with about a 48% fund balance. And then for me, page 44, there's a statement about our compliance with state and federal guidelines. Which I had pulled up earlier and now I cannot find. But it states that we followed all the administration prior to me followed all the state reporting guidelines as far as like our attendance and how many hours we're in session, and handled the school lunch finances correctly. So you'd hate to have what they call a modified opinion. This is not a modified opinion. So there are some findings which are common in audits, and you just use those findings to improve your practice and get better. But we're glad to be able to deliver the audit.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? No? Do I have a motion to approve the 2023-2024 financial audit as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 financial audit as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Anything you wanna talk about calendar? We're pretty much set.
Yeah, just, again, I'd like to show appreciation to our CTA and the calendar committee for their help with developing the calendar. Felt like it was a good process.
Do I have a motion? Anybody have any questions? No? All right. Motion to approve the 2025-2026 district calendar as presented.
Make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 district calendar as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Any questions on the approval of the tuition rates? The details are New Mexico School District Board realizes that there are situations where non-residential students and residents who are not otherwise entitled to free education may be allowed by law to attend Mexico School District or district programs on tuition basis. In these situations, the board will set tuition in an amount that minimally recoups the cost of the program and meets any applicable legal requirements. The superintendent will make recommendations to the board annually to set the tuition rates for the following year. The board will set all applicable rates, tuition rates, no later than February 1st.
Are these any different than last year's rates?
No, we
No.
kept them the same.
I didn't think they were, but I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 tuition rates as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. The approval of the prior month's MSBA policy updates. The details of this are during discussions with the Missouri School Board Association, it was discovered that policies from previous months have yet to be approved by our district. The attached policies, which there are just over 20, are regarded as non-essential but help implement in law or MSIP requirements.
I'll make a motion to approve the MSBA policy updates from prior months as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. On to personnel. Do I have a motion to approve personnel as listed?
I'll make a motion to approve personnel as listed.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Did I skip something?
Yeah.
Yep. Do I have a motion to approve the extra duty contracts for Suzanne Evans and Travis Simmons?
Make a motion to approve extra duty contracts for Suzanne Evans and Travis Simmons.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. What were you gonna say?
I was jumping.
Making sure I didn't miss something.
You didn't.
All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel matters by a closed vote and closed record pursuant to RSMO 610.021, section 13.
Second.
All in favor?